Welcome to Anxiety Simplified podcast. I am Joanne Williams, and I am here to share some powerful strategies I have learned in my life and I share with clients as a 30-year mental health professional. And I hope that you can take away some things today to use as well. My intention today is a little different. This is a podcast I hope will bring some Zen feelings into your home and car with these 10 life lessons from dying, from an article of this person, man, dying, that you can actually follow while living, from an article by P.S. I Love You. And it's not just the article, but that I wanted to share, but really these are also my life lessons in 66 years on this earth. Going to India twice with a meditation group, Sahaja Yoga, and as well that I've been doing daily for 32 years. I wouldn't start my day without it. And my counseling and life education and my spiritual education and Light Song School of Shamanic Studies in Portland, Oregon, that have shown that these 10 lessons that I want to share with you today are accurate and true, certainly from my perspective, that everything is energy. Everything. We are spiritual energy beings. We are affected. We clear things. Health is about blockages of energy. It's all about energy. We come from energy and we go back to that same energy. So this is a tale, a true tale. I can't prove it, but from this article that I'm going to start, and I'm going to interject my opinions in it as well. It's this article from P.S. I Love You starts off on February 19th, 2011. I died. My heart stopped pumping blood. My blue, turning, lifeless body slumped over my 4-year-old son. And this article starts as his mother watched in horror. An off-duty fireman from New York City began CPR, and the local security rushed in the AED, the defibrillator. The first shock didn't even revive him, but the second one did, and he woke up and he screamed, "Holy, you know what?" I lost consciousness again and continued to come in and out for the next 3.5 hours. Many years of changing diets, varying routine, exercise, I thought I was past my annoying little habit of suddenly dropping dead. He had written other articles about the 74 shocks he had received from the paddles in the ER, the day-long coma, and the visits from the priest. But here he was sharing this with people that he feels like he needs to from what he's learned from dying and coming back to life. May you learn these lessons without facing the trauma, he's saying, that I endured. And I'm not going to lie, he says, the experience was terrifying. I didn't know what happened, what was happening, and what was about to happen. I was mad, I was scared, but I learned these 10 lessons. In no particular order, there's these 10 lessons it took me dying to find out. You don't have to die to use these, is the number one message. Number one he's got is there are angels among us. Faith and religion aside, there are angels among us. When he says when he keeled over, he says his mom watched in shock, seeing her son limp, dead, and began to cry hysterically, "Jesus, Jesus, bring him back." And a man, a stranger, came over and embraced her and turned her back from the unfolding drama. When his life returned to his body, the man said to the monk, "Look, he answered your prayers." There were plenty of people there that day And I later, wanted to thank the paramedics, the firefighters, the doctors, the waiters. But the man who held my mom had disappeared. And I'm not saying he was an apparition, but he is unnamed in this story. And you may think that the world is full of hate, but it's not all hate, I'm going to add. Surrounding us are people of love and compassion. You may not see them, but there are millions of angels among us, having faith that the right people will show up at the right time, and they will. And I have had these similar experience, not so dramatic, but I saw angels even as a child, and they gave me comfort. So I would hope that you could trust and believe to feel that comfort as well. Next is fear. Inhibits living a full life. Almost everyone in my podcast is about this. So here it is again. And he was talking about, he attended a talk with Deepak Chopra, which I did too, and probably in the 90s. But the basis of this one was fear, that the basis of all fears is the fear of death. And I would say in one of my other podcasts, it's one of the 5 fears. And probably that is the one that gets us the most, and that maybe we need to look at. But to a large extent, he goes on. He believes this, that fear keeps us, I call it, from getting to your potential. He called it to a full life. My life turned off in the snap of a finger. And we know we all can. It can happen so fast in a storm or, accident. But when he came back and began to realize what happened, he was terrified. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to sleep. I was begging for answers, he says. What do I do that caused me to die? One of the things I was talking to a client about this week was Tony Robbins. Asking good questions shows the quality of your life. So he's asking, what did I do to cause this? So he was taking responsibility for this at this point. But fear is something he has determined you have to face. And I would agree. You can't look away from it or pull the covers over your head if you really want to move forward in life. You don't have to do it alone. Though there are many people to help, I'd be happy to encourage you, but it is something you'll have to deal with yourself. You can get the help, but you've got to change those thoughts or those feelings. That's the only one that can change this. And then he goes on, the other side of fear is life. Face whatever it is that you are afraid of, whether it is writing something online, telling someone you love them, speaking up while applying for a job. Be yourself. You are a perfect imperfection. No, we all have something. Face your fears. And it's not easier, but it does get easier with practice. This is when you do need to reach out for help. And this is me saying this. If you can't do this yourself, but there are angel counselors waiting to walk with you through that fear. And the next one of his is don't be ashamed to accept help. I'm saying the same thing. He's saying during his recovery in the hospital, he couldn't even wipe his bottom. Speaking of angels among us, he says, Mike, the nurse, is definitely an angel with humor and grace. He took great care of me, which couldn't have been easy considering the after effects of eating hospital food and being on an IV drip. He treated me with dignity and respect and made me feel like a friend. That is an angel. It's not easy letting somebody else clean your butt, but in life, we are all have dirty butts that need cleaning at one point or probably several times in our life. Beginning and end is usually when, but that's part of the human experience, making a mess and needing somebody else's help to clean it up. When we struggle to do everything ourselves, we bind ourselves to pain and frustration. Trust me, my friend, he says, it's okay to ask Mike for help. Little humor never hurts. Don't be ashamed to offer help. You may think this is the place where I'm going to tell you that the angel in the crowd or to be that Mike or someone else. You're right, but there's more. I have found that you can never love or care for someone else until you learn to love and care for yourself. And I'm going to put that in bold because that is so true. Just like putting your mask on in the airplane, take care of yourself first so then you can help somebody else. You can't force being nice, but once you've overcome the obstacle of loving yourself, you'll begin to love others. You won't be able to resist the desire to help others in need. When you love yourself, you'll love everyone else as well. And I find that every day as a counselor, even just having more animals in my life opens my heart up and I have more to share. Love someone, something, it will help you to love yourself and others. Learn to meditate. A book by John Kabat-Zinn introduced this person to the power of meditation exercises. And I'm going to tell you to go to my podcast number 50. I go into this in detail exactly about John Kabat-Zinn, what his book was. Wherever you go, there you are. And he defines mindfulness. And that's what number 50 podcast is about, mindfulness as paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the presence of the moment and non judgmentally as if your life depended on it. Instead of pushing it away or resisting, he taught people to hold on to life in non judgmental awareness. Thich Nhat Hanh was another Zen master. The Miracle of Mindfulness, another wonderful book. He's called the father of mindfulness in the West, and they call mindfulness, in the West, is the miracle by which masters restore ourselves. In Western medical practice, mindfulness is described as a psychological state, a practice of mindfulness meditation, and a mode of awareness. So even as I'm speaking, you can go to peace. You can go to awareness of what is disturbing your Zen and clear that out in your life, clear it out in your body so you can be at more peace. And in podcast number 49 at anxietysimplified.net, there's a free gift waiting for you. That is a frameable copy of the 7 attitudes of mindfulness from these masters that I have it hung up here next to me that I look at this. These are the attitudes. These are the ways of life that keep you in this Zen. Dr. S.K. Ramesh really brought this back today. I had an energy session with him today. And he reminded me that everything is energy. Your health issues are blocks in this energy flow, just like a log jam in a river. Any healer can only help you to open up your intention, your belief, to allow yourself to heal yourself. No healing can be done to you. Check out Dr. S.K. Ramesh's in podcast 30 with an actual example of what we're talking about, removing these blocks in his ACE system. He's a fabulous healer to help you clear energy blocks. In his simple treatment today, I could feel the shift in energy blocks in my neck where it had several car accidents and I had whiplash. He was real. I could feel the energies. I was realigning this. And within a 10-minute session with him, I could just feel better. I could feel my blood flowing smoother. And you can have a session with him as well once you're open to allowing that kind of help into your system. And you can see how to contact him again in podcast number 30 at anxietysimplified.net. To get to the place of witnessing without reaction, it takes meditation, he says. You cannot have mindfulness without meditation. Mindfulness is something that develops from, from being a meditative person, he says. And I believe that. I mean, I've meditated for 32 years. It's a practice. And the first, you're kind of wiggly and you can't sit still and it's really hard to focus. You do it anyways. And even if you can't feel like anything is happening, something is. During that time, when my, this is back to the article. So during that time, when my body didn't contain my life, I experienced an indescribable peace. Indescribable is the best word because there are no words to describe it accurately. I felt like I'd always been there and I'd always be there. It felt eternal. Meditation connected me to that place. Meditation is the best medicine. I would say it feels to me like going home. That feeling in my heart where just everything is just wonderful and peaceful. He says he started to feel true healing after reading the book by John Kabat-Zinn. Talked about imagining yourself dead, but it worked. By embracing what is, allowing that thing versus resisting it, he found peace. And the key word is allow. I say allow, align, accept. Meditation brought him into a place similar to death, in that nothingness that he says, I find my everything in the nothingness. And when you look at the Buddha talk, it's all about the nothingness and the being there. And when you meditate, that really to me is the object, and your breath will bring you there. And you can see the podcast on vagus breathing, or how to I think it's number 47 podcast. I'm not exactly sure. Find the one with vagus breathing, the breathe that you can go from fight to relax really quickly. It works beautiful in meditation and brings you that calm state quickly. Prayer works, he said. And I know sometimes I even have a little resistance to the word of prayer. I would say if you do also, I use the word intention in the same place as prayer. And he says, call it what you will, but prayer works. And I'm not talking about repeating our Fathers and Hail Marys, but he's talking about the way that mountain moving prayers of faith, not based on religion, but based on belief. And that's what I believe about intention. It's a focused thought on a subject long enough that it has an effect. You can feel this in your life when you practice this and use it. It works. You probably don't even see it, but it works around you. He said his parents, when he was in this death state, kicked off a prayer chain that went around the world, Europe, and India. He said, I could feel the calming presence. I didn't know who these people were praying for me, but I knew something was happening. I felt it, a tangible change. And he says he's written articles about it, and Dr. Larry Dorsey wrote a great book called The Healing, not the calling Healing Words. But there's an energy in this universe. It's inside all of us, and it heals us. You and I are the same. Inside each of us is pure energy. It's there before our bodies came into being. And that's same with the intention. And it'll be there when your body decays into the ground. It is never born and will never die because it's energy and it's a law of physics. It just transforms into a different form. That energy is eternal and unites us all. Forget the Bible or Sanskrit saying. He says go to Disney Plus and see the movie Soul. Jesus said he must become like a child to enter heaven. So yes, it takes a childlike sense of curiosity and wonder to see this heavenly realization. We are all the same. We may look different and act different and behave different, but we're the same inside. We're pure energy. It's love energy. That's the energy that is everywhere of wellness, and there's only a flow of wellness. We only interrupt it. There's only wellness. What about those people in the Capitol using flagpoles and fire extinguishers to beat other people, he says? Those are people not in alignment with their own love energy. They were not choosing it at that point, but they were disguised by levels of ego. That will interrupt your energy of love every time we get in the way and think we're higher than, better than, and judgmental. Heaven is on earth, he says. Speaking of Jesus in heaven, I've come to realize that Jesus was talking about a place on earth. You get a sense of this big picture, or watch the movie, he says, Joaquin Phoenix plays Jesus, or read The Alchemist. The concept is we don't have to die to find heaven. We don't even have to make a pilgrimage to the middle of the world and kiss some rock. It doesn't take ritual, nor does it take sacrifice. Heaven is where you are. You create it. It is a realization of the present moment. It's that space between your breaths. It's the space between your thoughts. And I say, you create heaven in your thoughts, or you create hell in your drama and what you're focused on. You get to choose. Space versus time, time versus space. No, space, time versus time, space. He says, but when he died, he said, I saw the universe, time, space. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this in his book, Becoming Supernatural, where he finds a place where all time, past, present, and future comes together at one point in space and eternal. Think about this. You're currently in the middle of time. The point you are at now is equally as far from the beginning of time as it is at the end. You are always at the center of the universe. You are no farther from one end of the universe than you are from the other. You, your energy, your presence is at the convergence of time space. I do shaman work with a group, and we do journeys like Joe Dispenza does. I highly encourage you to listen to some of his YouTubes or see his work. But just like Joe Dispenza does, and we go in these journeys into other dimensions of space and time. And it is some of the most peaceful feelings I'll ever have. It also allows this human experience of fear and heaviness to also find lightness, like a dream state that is so pleasant to know you can go and experience any time that I want to. Be here now, he says. Neither I nor some of the best doctors know what happened to me the day I dropped dead. They did blood tests, machine tests, research. They can't find the cause, me to turn it off. They confirmed I died. They confirmed I came back. Through it all, I'm not thoroughly convinced that we are all spiritual. I'll say that again. Through it all, I'm now thoroughly convinced that we are all spiritual beings having a bodily experience. To maximize this experience, to get the most out of it, we, he says, should face our fears, show our love, accept others, and learn to connect to the eternal present moment, that there are angels among us. And this is by no means any kind of replacement for therapy or any kind of medical attention if you ever need it. So please reach out and take care of yourself if you do. And we can always be reached at anxietysimplified.net for the videos of this podcast. And if you want a comfort animal, either emotional support or psychiatric service dog, you can go to esapros.com, and they can really provide a lot of care and love that you cannot get in a lot of other ways or places. So reach out if you ever need to. There's always somebody there waiting for you when you're ready to. Bye for now.